Ooh. Behind the scenes. Woo. I am preparing for a church event. It's around 20 kids, probably like 10, 15 parents, small setting. I have 20 minutes. How I prepare when I do church sermons. It took me like 5 hours to do a 10-minute high school graduation keynote. This one probably take me like 10, 20 minutes. I read the word, and then I just have talking points, and I don't even have no talking points. I just share stories because being as a smaller setting, it is a little bit more, and plus church folk, you can just ease them into it and just talk to them. Small setting, talk to them, hit my stories, and just share what's really on my heart. So that's why I love these type of occasions, these type of gigs. And yeah, I think I already had my breakdown of how I wanted to go, how I wanted to flow. I have my Bible reference, what I want to talk about, but I just want to attack things that I know that goes on in their head and really address it. Like one area of growth this summer in all my talks are all the thoughts, like say for instance, a lot of kids are going to be like, why should I believe in God, or this whole faith thing, or tithing, like what it means. So instead of me telling them like what tithing means, what this means, address that question. Like, I know what you're thinking right now. Why would I give 10% to X, Y, and Z? As an adult, I thought the same thing too. And then just go into my feelings and my thoughts about that rather than having these points. Because points are cool, but I just want to be honest and real as I begin to curate my own voice in the speaking game. Because I have my own distinct style, but my own unique voice in what I do. I just want to continue to bring direct what they're thinking, address it, and give my thoughts on it, and really respect my thoughts. Because when you're new in the speak game, you're like, yo, why should I respect these thoughts? Like, who am I to say this? But now, thanks to God, I've been able to accomplish certain things, and in the speaking industry, in the podcasting industry, in the writing industry, in the helping industry. So I have a lot more confidence in just sharing what I really feel rather than having to stick to the points. But wish me luck. We're gonna I'm gonna be led by the Spirit, and I'll address something too. I am open and honest about my faith and believing in God. I know everybody that follows me, everybody that listens to my stuff, is not necessarily a believer, and I'm open to that. That's why you don't hear me talking too much about it. However, I'm not gonna shy away from it. So just put it out there. But I'm inclusive for everybody, and I want to continue to brew that inclusive thing. So just in case it turns anybody off that I talk about God, I mean, He's the reason why I'm here. He's the reason why I've been able to do what I need to do. He's the reason. Yeah. And yes, that is a toilet. I just like to build sometimes in confined spaces just to kind of get my chakras right, my energy. So that's why I close the door. Sometimes I might build in my closet. But I don't know, something about the clothes is like keeping all the energy, all your thoughts in one thing. So I'll hit you on the weekly recap. Not weekly recap, I hit you on the behind the scenes, let you know how it goes. And I won't be wearing glasses. I never wear glasses in speeches. Matter of fact, next behind the scenes, I will explain why I would never wear glasses in speeches. I wear contacts. I'm blind. But yep, that's it. Man, recap. It was one of the best speeches I've ever delivered. But I learned some things. One, if you do not have your camera guy, write in your contract to have somebody that's going to specifically be behind the camera. I delivered one of the most dynamic speeches I've ever had. 10 minutes in and stopped recording. My dumb self, I had an audio rec, lavalier mic. I forgot to press the record button, so all that footage is lost. And I don't know, I was hurt after the speech because I gave it everything. It was an organic standing applause, and I couldn't document any of it. All I got is the first 10 minutes, and that's when I was starting to get revved up. So it's food for thought. For all my speakers out there with your contracts, specifically put in your contract what you want to see done, and then have it executed. Don't be like petty or be like big time one, but have it executed. But outside of that, also speaking in the confines of the church,
a lot of times I don't have to be as like pragmatic as 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the points, principles. I just share the story, draw out. I just led by the Spirit. So I love that because honestly, like I told you, it took me 5 hours to prepare a 10-minute graduation keynote. I just read the Bible, I meditated on it, scribbled some notes, and I walked up there. And it was dynamic. It was to the point. It was, man, I was during it. I had a little baby. She was like 3, 4 years old. She walked up to where I was at, and she was right there, and I incorporated her into it. And I had a chance to incorporate my man, which is in high school. I knew him in high school, and now he's a father, 29, 3 kids, wife, happily married. And just to see him there, and to see so many other people that look like me in society that have kids and don't take care of them. And these are educated people too. So they have him, he didn't go to college route, but he sells, car sales, real estate, and to see how powerful and what he's been done to catch up with him, I was able to incorporate that into the speech because I wasn't labeled on these points. Not to say I'm still really a point guy, because I really want to do things about a logical way, but it was refreshing to see me in that space to just go off the top and now have the confidence to execute it well. So that only comes after years and years and years of your content and honestly knowing your story. But that's really all I have to recap. Phenomenal event. I learned a lot, specifically from the tech side, to make sure I have everything straight on my end. And thank you for tuning in.